What's up, YouTube? Thanks for watching this video. This is a story of how the Funnel Docs came to be and how I've gone from zero to generating over 41.7 million for my clients and funnel ecosystems I created in the last 4 years. Started out as a personal trainer and now I'm the Funnel Doc, and here's my story. What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching. So today I'm going to tell you my story and how I came to be. So I've always been really patriotic and love my country. I know we're not the most perfect thing there is out there, but I always loved it. And literally 6 days after graduating high school, I was standing in boot camp in the Navy. I wanted to be a medic so that I could help people, and it's always been a passion of mine, is helping people. And but I wanted to be tough. I wanted to be with the Marines. So I wound up going to the Marine Green side, what they called it, and serving 4 years as a Marine corpsman, learning all types of medical skills and whatnot. So when I got out of the military, like a lot of jobs, they don't translate. Now, I was a medic and there's a lot of things I could have done, but a lot of the stuff they teach you inside the military doesn't translate to the civilian world. You have to get certifications, all types of stuff. So I got out, needed a job, and a buddy of mine happened to be a manager at 24 Hour Fitness at that time. And he was like, Jeff, you worked out a bunch in the military. Why don't you be a personal trainer? And back then you didn't really need much of a certification, if any at all, to be a personal trainer. So I was a personal trainer. So fast forward, I did personal training, and then I moved up the chain and wind up becoming the fitness director and general manager, and wind up being district manager of Las Vegas at one point. For roughly about 15 years, I did personal training and fitness related stuff. So one day I was in one of my personal training sessions with one of my clients, and this was in 2010. And I'd been trying to rack my brain for some way to automate personal training. I love business. I love automation. I love online and everything. Since I was a kid, I loved computers. Hence why funnels and everything, I guess, came so naturally. But anyway, so I was trying to figure out how to automate personal training and make it into like a service for online. And this was in 2010, and apps really weren't a thing yet. They were starting, but not really by any means. So one day I'm training one of my clients there, and I'm telling him about this. And mind you, I used to like to write everything out in notebooks, and I had like 5 notebooks like this thick, just full of like formulas and ideas and how it should look, and drawn out, just like everything put down in paper. And I'd been writing this out for like I said, 3 to 5 years now or whatever. And I'm sitting there, I'm working with my clients, I'm telling him about it, and he just stops in the middle of the session. He looks at me and he's like, Jeff, he's like, do you like your job? And I'm like, yeah, Mark, I freaking love my job. Why? And he looks at me and he's like, I'll tell you what. He's like, quit your job. I'll give you a salary. I'll pay you $3,000 a month, which is roughly what I was making at that time, maybe a little bit more. And we'll split it 50-50, and I'll pay for everything. And I just looked at him and I'm just like, sign me up. Where can we get started? This was like a dream come true. This was a luck bomb that just hit right in front of me, So I'm like, let's do it. So at that point, we went to work, and we got a computer agency to build everything out, like the actual coders and all that. I was working with them, meeting and designing and building, and it was cool. It took a long time. It was a year-long process, and at that end of the year, we were getting ready to launch, and Mark came to me and sat down, and he's like, Jeff, we need to have a talk. And I'm, okay, Mark, what's going on? We're like, we're here. We're ready to launch. This is amazing. I'm so excited. And he looked at me, he's like, I don't know that I'm gonna continue with this. And I'm like, what? And my mouth is like falling over, I'm like, what do you mean we're ready to launch? He's like, look, when I first got into this, I'd set aside $100,000 for this project. We're at $115,000 now, he told me. And he's like, I just can't invest anymore in it. He's like, to get this out to market, to get it out there to the world, to do it like it needs to be done. Nothing out there is like this right now. It's going to be 100, 200, maybe even $500,000 more. And he's like, I'm not willing to risk that much money. So he just wrote it off as a loss for his company. They were doing really well at that time, and he was able to do that. And they're still doing well now. And he gave it to me. He's like, here's a system, you can do what you want. But I didn't know how to market. I didn't know how to do anything. So this sort of started my marketing journey. Now, I didn't have any money to launch or anything. And mind you, if I even knew this much now, what I didn't know way back then, or whatever I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say. If I even knew now what I knew now, I would be able to do something with it. But mind you, 2010 was a completely different internet than it is now. I think MySpace was out there. Wasn't any Facebook or YouTube or any way that you could get in front of people so easily, organically now. So I didn't know what to do with it. So it went away. And if you go to YouTube and you type in BEYOUR trainer.com, beyourtrainer.com, and YouTube, you can see all the videos. You can even see a walkthrough of it and everything. But anyway, so that was my first real failure trying to figure out online. Is we had this opportunity to do, it literally, everything you see now, MyFitnessPal and all that stuff was in this. So this tells you how much I've always had this passion for programming computers and all that type of stuff. So I digress. I go back into fitness, and mind you, it's only a year later, but I'm older now. I put on some weight. I hadn't been working out at all during this time. I got out of shape. It was really bad. And I'm trying to get back in the fitness industry, and I'm fat, and they don't want anybody that's out of shape, that's older. They want that young, in shape, hot dude to run their gyms and to be the personal trainer. So I decided I'm going to start up my own boot camp and my own fitness little personal training brand. And I'm trying to learn, how do I market myself online? And I'm trying to make this work for, years it was going on. I was married this time to Tori, and she's supporting us pretty much during this time when I'm trying to figure out all this stuff. And I'm doing side jobs here and here, $600 here, $500 here, $1,000 here, which is nice, but it's nothing consistent by any means, nothing we can count on. So time goes by until we're talking 5, 6 years. We're in 2016, roughly almost 2017. And I'm studying underneath this guy named Bedros Keuilian, learning sales and marketing online. That was one of the things I've always been really good at, is sales. When I was a personal trainer, I was always one of the top trainers. I understood how to figure out what motivated people to be able to move them to a sale. So I'm learning from this guy, Bedros Keuilian, how to market myself online. He's talking about these funnels things. He has this boot camp called Fit Body Boot Camp that as a vet, I can get in very inexpensively. So I'm looking to do this. And mind you, my biggest, greatest thing is to maybe get one of these Fit Body boot camps of my own, make $150,000 a year, which to me is mind blowing. Over $10,000 a month. Are you crazy? I'd only made $3-4 grand with any consistency. Sometimes it ups or down depending on what I was doing, but nothing like now by any means. And so I'm studying this guy, and all of a sudden one day, Bedros holds up this book, .com secrets, from some Russell Brunson dude. I don't know who this guy is, and I'll never forget. He's like, you got to read this book. So I'm the type of student that when someone tells me to do something, I do it. And I love studying. I love learning new things. So I get the book, and man, it was life-changing. It was the most amazing thing ever. It was like, if you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, when Neo first sees the whole Matrix and sees everything, and he's can see the O's and the ones and understands everything. To me, it's webinars and funnels, up sales, down sales, OT, everything he's talking about is all making sense. The copy, the perfect webinar script, the Epiphany Bridge script, everything, the attractive character, it's all making sense. And I realized at that time, 2017, that Russell is the future of online marketing, that websites are dead and funnels are the future. And I'm like, I got to go all in on this guy. He knows what's going on. This is the future. I got to get involved on this. So I went all in, and I went and joined the group. And the ClickFunnels group was probably about 25,000 people at this time. This was March 15th, I think it was. It used to say on there, 2017. So I start going all in. I'm spending all this time. I'm giving all this value to this group. I'm trying to learn and master this ClickFunnels thing. I got my own account and everything, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I figured the best way to be able to provide value and to learn it was to be able to teach others. Because when you can really teach someone else, I feel that's when you have true mastery of something. So, excuse me. So then I went, and I'm just like literally, no joke, 4 to 6 hours a day, if not more, in the ClickFunnels group, providing value. Like if someone had a question, I'd help them. If they didn't know the answer, I'd find it out. I'd Google it, whatever it took. I'd make videos for them. I'd jump on Zooms. I'd help them with their funnel review, whatever it took. I'm taking the digital marketer courses by Ryan Dice. I'm getting all those certifications. We're maxing out our credit cards. I'm buying every course I can, every product that's free, that's not free. I'm on YouTube. I'm falling asleep on the keyboard here at night. I'm waking up, hitting play again so I can start learning. I mean, this is how much I felt the need, the passion to learn this. This was the future, man. And here's my chance to be a part of it. So fast forward, we're like in June, like, no, I was like probably about like 4 months later down the road, roughly. They put out for the first time ever the top 10 contributors to the group. Now, mind you, the group had gone from, like I said, like 30 or like 25, 35,000. It was like 72,000 people had gone up to. And this was just a new feature that Facebook had put out where you can nominate your top 10 contributors. I know it's been out for a while now, but it was new then. So he put out for the first time ever, and I was the second highest contributor out of 72,000 people. And number 5 was Julie Stoyan. So if anyone knows the ClickFunnels community, you know she's a pretty big deal. So just for some reference of names on this list. So just before this has happened, April 4th, I decide to make an ultimate commitment to this. Like, not only have I been doing any studying, I've been spending all my money, but I'm like, I'm going to do the ultimate commitment. And on April 4th, 2017, I got this tattoo. And mind you, this is a real tattoo of the Funnel Hacker brand because I'm a funnel hacker for life. And I don't believe in copying or any of that type of stuff. Like it's been unfortunately twisted now and made into something it's not meant to be. It's meant to be about modeling and realizing what works and being able to use it, not copy it, like make stuff your own. You know, if you look at so much stuff through time, there's very little that's the first time it's being done. But you want to be able to say what's worked before and model that, but don't copy. You don't go in like people have done now. They just bastardize. It's terrible. But anyway, so it's getting there. I'm trying to figure this out. I get the tattoo. Things are going good in ClickFunnels, good in learning, you know, but all of a sudden one day, I'll never forget this day. I'm sitting there. My desk was right by the front door in our living room. We had a small living room that I transformed into our office. I'm sitting at my desk, and Tori would always, you know, was by the front door to always walk out by me and buy, you know, give me a kiss or whatever and go to work. And I'll never forget the day I'm sitting there and I'm watching Marketing Quickies with Russell Brunson. He's just this little tiny, he looked like a 15-year-old boy in these. If you ever Google Marketing Quickies, you'll love it. And it's great information. But I'm watching him, I'm learning, and all of a sudden the door opens again. It's like 30, 45 minutes later, and Tori walks in, and she's white, and she's crying, she's pale, and just this face, and she's like, oh, and just look on her face. I'm like, babe, what's wrong? What's wrong? I'm like, somebody's died. Somebody's died. What's going on? And she's like, I lost my job. And I'm like, what? And she's like, I lost my job. I got fired. So long story short, the night before, they were throwing out the leftover foods. Tori was a manager at Starbucks. And one of the girls there didn't like her, and they're throwing out the muffins. And one of the other girls turned to her and was like, hey, can I have one of these muffins? We're throwing them out. Tori, thinking nothing of it, it's like, sure, go right ahead. We're about to throw them out. Well, the other girl reported Tori. Now, Tori had been working there for 8 years as a manager. Reported Tori that she gave this muffin to the girl, and both her and the girl were fired overnight. 8 years gone for giving away a muffin. So needless to say, we were like most American families out there that don't have a savings, unfortunately. We were like paycheck to paycheck or less to paycheck. So time goes by a little bit, and you know, we've been maxing out the credit cards, trying to do these courses, been paying for everything, and man, it gets tough real quick. And I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this and gals have been there. It got tough real quick. Rent came due, $1,200 for rent. I'm like, what do we do? And at that point, I was so broke. Like when I'd asked my wife to marry her, all I had was a family heirloom ring, diamond ring that my mother had given me to be able to give to her to ask for her hand in marriage. And so we had nothing of value, nothing other than that. I didn't even have a ring or anything like that. And so we had to pawn it. We were like, what are we gonna do? I didn't want to sell it, so we took it down, we pawned it. And the sad thing is our rent was $1,200 and we only got $800 for the ring. So it literally wasn't even enough. We had to turn to our parents and ask them for money. My parents, unfortunately, don't have a lot to anything like that. So, we come from very humble beginnings. I've never been in need. My parents were always great, but never did we have surplus by any means, unfortunately, or whatever. It's led to today, so I can't look on it negatively. But anyway, so she comes in, she tells me she lost her job. And and we have to pawn the ring, and it wasn't enough. And now we got enough to pay it, but we're like, what are we gonna do now? Like, I don't have a job. She doesn't have a job. We're a little bit older now. We're like, what do we do? And, I just kept going all in on this whole funnel thing. And all of a sudden one day, out of nowhere, some random dude again named Kevin David, never heard of him before, knew nothing about him, needed help with funnels. So everybody, because I've been giving so much value in the group, they start tagging me, Jeff. He's the guy. Talk to him. So Kevin reaches out to me, and we start talking, and I show him some funnels I had made, and I show him the tattoo, and he's like, and with everybody reference me, and I show him that I'm the second highest contributor. He's like, well, heck, with all this, you got to be the guy, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the guy. So, we talk it out, and he winds up paying me $6,000, and I'll never forget it. I was like, baby, we are rich. We're paying all the bills off. We're getting your ring out of pawn. We're going out to dinner at Red Lobster. Yes, baby. Yes, we did it. And it felt like it felt like we did it. It felt like we'd hit that, all the hard work, all that bullshit that we'd been through is paying off. You know what I mean? It was finally paying off. Looking back, over the whole thing now, $6,000 isn't a ton of money, but it was more than I'd ever probably had at one point at that time. And to be able to come out and be able to pay off everything and get caught up on the rent, it was just, Kevin David was a godsend, So we worked really, really hard. I built out his funnels, his emails, basically his entire ecosystem, minus the actual webinar and course. Sorry, I get emotional about the story. It's my life, So we build everything out, and then we launch, and that's when the real magic happened. It was amazing. I was like nothing I'd ever seen. I mean, here we're going from a guy who just got his wife's ring out of pawn to we did 1.2 million in 57 days. We had 2 days that were over $100,000 days. They were 108 and $132,000. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my God, this is something you created, Jeff. This is something you created. Now, mind you, Kevin David is an amazing, powerful name and a great man. I love him to death. He's one of my best friends now. I owe him so much for giving me this opportunity to be able to shine and show my skills. And I'll never be able to repay him for giving me this opportunity. But we launched. And at that time, it was the ClickFunnels fastest anyone had hit 1 million. No one had done faster than this. So mind you, this is all Kevin's money. I just made $6,000 for it, which again was life-changing at that time. But we launch, and then all of a sudden September 15th, 2017 comes around. And Russell wanted to have this whole viral event he was creating with the Harmon brothers. He's working hand in hand with them. They did the Squatty Potty video and a bunch of other stuff. They had gone viral, and they were getting known as the viral video guys. So Russell's like, well, I'm going to make a viral video. Smart, right? So he decides to create his own noise, as he always does, which I recommend for everyone out there, is create as much noise as you can before you launch. Don't just turn on ads. And he decided he was going to get these top 200 influencers from all over that were in the ClickFunnels world, these top people that are really well known. And of course, they invited Kevin. And Kevin, being the amazing dude he is like, well, I'm not going to go unless Jeff can go. And because he knew I wasn't getting any recognition, no one knew who I was. They all knew who he was. It was his funnel, his course. I just made the whole ecosystem, So anyway, there you go. Yeah, he can go. He's got a free ClickFunnels tattoo. Why wouldn't he go, So mind you, this is my first time I've ever been to a conference or anything like this in my life. I had never been to any sales conference or anything like that. And Russell had decided he was going to do two more things other than bring all these influencers in. He was going to have Gary Vee come in, give a presentation. I've been watching Gary Vee, on YouTube and stuff like that. And I'm just like, Gary Vee is going to be there. This is amazing. And first experience, mind you. And then the other thing he wanted to do was set the world record for the largest ever human bubble soccer game. If you've ever seen those big inflatable balls, people getting like run into each other, amazing time. So needless to say, that was our other thing is he brought in Guinness Book World Record. They had official dude there to track everything, and we document everything. If you go to YouTube, you can find it in the ClickFunnels stuff. Completely amazing time. But I'll never get there. It was so funny when I was sitting there and I'm watching Gary Vee give his presentation, and I'm, of course, fanboying off of Russell because this is the guy that changed my life. I mean, Kevin gave me the opportunity, but Russell gave me the skills, So I'm sitting there and I'm like watching Russell the entire time. It's so funny. It sounds silly to say now, but watching him the entire time, practically barely paying much attention to Gary. But like, it was so funny because every time Gary dropped an F-bomb, Russell would be like, because, at this point, this was in 2017, Russell had been out there, but he wasn't as much in the spotlight as he was going to be and soon to be forever. So it definitely wasn't, in this arena where people are cussing all the time. So I'm sitting there listening to Gary, watching Russell, and I stare across the room, and all of a sudden I see this gentleman who I'd been studying and following, this guy Akbar Sheikh. And I'm like, this guy is a guy I want to know. I loved, he was make more, give more. I'm very much the same way, income and impact. I wanted to help make more money and change the world with it and help people to be able to do the same. And he had the same vision, and we were along the same thing, and we were in the funnel. So I'm like, I need to talk to this guy. I really like to have him as a mentor or something. So I'm sitting there, I look at him, and all of a sudden I scan his left, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Is that really? It's none other than Sindhu Bedros Keuilian, the guy who introduced .com Secrets and started the whole thing. That it was like everything had gone full circle. The launching of the funnel, all the hard work they'd done, the strife and pain and everything. It just all came to a full circle. And Bedros winded up being on the same team with me. I wanted to go in and talk to him while we're down there setting the world record. Kev was on my same team, of course. Excuse me. And I told Bedros how he changed my life. I told him my whole story. He invited me and Tori, my wife at the time, to Fitness Business Summit in San Diego that year. We were VIPs for that. That was 2018. I'll tell you about that story in a minute. It's an amazing time. I start meeting everybody. Everybody starts to know who I am, what I'm capable of. We shortly then thereafter that launch Kevin's second funnel. That one took a little longer to hit. That one did $1 million in just under 6 months. Now my career is taking off. Everything is going great. Andrew Warner has a podcast called Mixergy. This is a really high-level entrepreneur podcast that I've been listening to forever. He was at an event one time doing a dry bar interview of Russell that we had all been invited to. So I was there. While I was there, he saw my tattoos and heard my story. He's like, dude, I got to get you on the podcast. So I'm getting ready to go on Andrew Warner Mixergy podcast, and all of a sudden my cell phone rings. And it's Kevin. So I'm like, I'll guess what's up. He's like, dude, we did it. I'm like, what do we do? He's like, we broke 10 million. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, because I wasn't keeping track of all the stats. After we did the first million, I'm like, it's his business, his funnel. I just made everything, So he's like, yeah, we broke 10 million. So that first funnel, this first guy here, that got my first 2 comma, went on to do 10 million in under 18 months and has now done like 30 million or just short of 30 million altogether. And we launched the second one. That one does really well. Kevin wants me to become his whole funnel guy. I decided at that point that I don't want to be part of his business. I want to launch my own agency. December 2017, we launch our funnel agency. That blows up instantly. We do like 12 grand or 18 grand our first month. It literally doubled. It was like 32, which I know it's not double, but, and then we went up going up and up, and it was amazing. Time of my life, man. I'll never forget it. That February 2018, Kevin has NinjaCon in Puerto Vallarta. he invites us down. He invites me to be a speaker to speak about funnels. And at that time, I was really focused on funnels and messenger bots and follow-up. That was really my area. And that's all the stuff a lot of the stuff I built for him. I helped him with his ad stuff too, but mainly with his ecosystem, the funnels, the follow-up, developing his avatar, building everything out, that type of stuff. So he had me come. I get to speak. It's like a dream of mine, my whole dream. And this is what's amazing about what's amazing about being able to do things like this is it's literally been a dream of mine since I was a little kid to be a motivational speaker, to be able to speak in front of people. And now I get this opportunity because I can make videos like this. So, but at that time, this was one of my dreams, was actually be on stage. So there's 150 people. I flew out to Puerto Vallarta. I got to speak in it. I had people coming up to me afterwards, telling me how impactful it was, how much they loved my presentation. It was just so amazing. So that was in February. That literally, it was so cool. The month of February 2018, every weekend we were somewhere else. We were traveling. So it was Puerto Vallarta at the beginning of the month. Then at the next, it was the 10th. That was AdCon, where I got my 10K award. This is when Dan Henry was doing was it Ads for Entrepreneurs, or I can't remember what, AFE or something. Facebook Ads for Entrepreneurs was what it was. And I had taken his course to help with my agency and learn everything. And of course, he had an award for 10K. I was getting my award with everyone. And it's so cool too, because there were so many people that I look back when I was on that stage with them, they're now blown up to success. You have like, some of the people were like Andrew Cruzy was there, Jeff Miller, Sim was there. There's a bunch of amazing people that have done well and gone on to do millions now that were on that stage. It's so funny. And Dan was sort of the spark of a lot of us as far as our initial beginning launch. So not only is Dan a friend, and I love you, bro, but thanks for helping give me that jump. So that's 2018, and everything's going great. My company's killing it. We're crushing it. And we go from literally having 4 clients to 13 clients, like overnight practically. Now, mind you, I come from the realm of a personal trainer. Like I had been a gym manager. I'd been fitness manager. I ran my own business as a personal trainer, but not really ever ran a business. You know what I mean? Not a real business. And, I made a lot of mistakes. Man, I messed up a bunch. I'll tell you straight up. Just, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, you know? And I got overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do. And I had a buddy at that time. I'm not going to go into names or anything, but I had a buddy at that time that I loved. He was one of my best friends. And, you know, coming from the era of Shark Tank where, hey, if you're in trouble, you give away part of your company, right? No, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. So at that point, again, all entrepreneurs have ups and downs, but I go and I tell this friend of mine, I'm like, hey, look, come out to my house in Las Vegas. You can live with me. I'll pay for everything. And I'll give you for 25. You can literally live in my house. And I don't let my own parents stay in my house when they come visit me, but I was letting this guy, he's my best friend, come live in my house with me and my wife. Because I was working on a house, and same thing made my office. So it made sense. So we start working together. About a month goes by, we're doing stuff. During this month, I wound up doing $108,000 in sales. Now, mind you, these were all pre-set up sales. This guy had nothing to do with it. He even admitted they're already set up. He was just helping me with funnel work and all types of stuff. But my mistake, I offered him 25% of my company and didn't put down stipulations on what that meant. So I will take full responsibility for that being my mistake. I should have outlined it. I didn't know. I figured this is my best friend. He wouldn't screw me over, but get in the story. So about a month down the road, we've been working. Things are going up, you know, down. And again, my second mistake, number 2, and please pay attention to this and don't do this as well, is first of all, I didn't outline everything and what it meant and what 25%, what he had to do to earn it. He just 25%. And then, I didn't check up on his work. I just expected him to be at the level. This person was well known in the digital marketing agency. Expected him to be at that level. So he comes to me one day and he's like, Jeff, I got to get out of here. I got to go to San Diego to be with these monks in the mountains for the next 7 days. And I'm like, well, dude, you know, and everything seems to be going well. I'm like, all right, bro, if you need to do what you need to do, go do what you need to do. I'm that type of guy. I'm like, you do you, you know, I support you. I love you. 7 days, it's still a little long. And it was sort of funny too, because we just closed this whole $108,000. I paid him me being trying to my own hubris and stupidity and showing off. I paid him cash. I did have a sign for it, so it was legal, but I paid him cash because trying to show off. And anyway, he's like, I gotta go to this thing. And I'm like, okay, we just closed all these deals, but you do what you gotta do. I think everything's fine. But while he's gone to this monk thing in San Diego, and this wasn't Andrew Cruzy, by the way. I mentioned him earlier. It's not him. He's a good friend of mine. This isn't him. I know he did a similar thing. While this guy's gone, I start going over his work, and it was bad. Like, we were running ads for people. One of my clients who had been with me 9 months, who winded up being my third 2 comma at that time, winds up leaving the agency. He winds up coming back, thank goodness. And that's, like I said, what led to the third 2 comma with him that I got last year. But man, he left because his ads were so bad. And again, my fault for not checking them. I should have pay attention. You got to set KPIs. You got to follow up and you got to check on your people, not over, but anyway, that's a whole nother video. So I start checking stuff, and the ads are so bad that people are like, 90% of the comments are heckling the ad. It's terrible. Like, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I'm like, oh my God. And the person who owned it was so embarrassed. This guy, he taught yoga instructors how to market and still remain their ethical self and not lose who they are and sell out and all that type of stuff and still be able to make a profit and grow a business. And the ad was like, the ad said one thing, the copy said another. It was terrible, and it made him look money hungry. It's terrible. So he winds up quitting, which I couldn't blame him. Like I said, thank goodness he comes back and leaves my third comma with him. And then so I go start checking other stuff. Now, we had this other client, $1 million dog brand. We built out their funnel, and I go to check his funnel, and all he'd done was went to their Amazon page and copied their Amazon page and put in the funnel and was like, that's it. And we're running traffic to it. And I didn't know it at the time. It was my fault. Should have checked it out. So I start reviewing on other stuff, and it's all incompetent. And unfortunately, it's done, but not to the level of what I'm expecting as the funnel doc of my brand. So he comes back from the retreat, and I go to him, and before I'm like, hey man, we got to have a talk. And he's like, I'm like, I don't think it's going to work out. And his exact words were, I'm glad you said something, because if you hadn't, I was going to. And I'm like thinking to myself, great, we're on the same page. He's going to pay me back the money. So I asked him back for the money. Now, mind you, I know he needed like 12 grand to put down on a house or something. So I even tell him, again, me being the dude and realizing I screwed up, dude, keep 12 of the grand, just give me the rest of it back. Now, you told me 25%. You didn't say it was 4. We made 100,000 plus. I got 25 grand. I'm owed 25 grand. And that was his rationale. And I can't argue with it. I can, but I can't, but it is what it is. So long story short, he wound up leaving. I was still tons of clients. I went to get overwhelmed. We had some good launches. We had some bad launches. I had a client all of a sudden out of nowhere refund for $35,000. Imagine waking up and all of a sudden your bank account's 35 grand lower. They had paid with an American Express card. American Express does not care. They will pull the money out and you have to fight them in court. Lost that. Had another refund, winded up having to refund another 17, another 12. It wound up all in all cost between 70 and 80,000 on top of the 25 grand that I lost given to him. So it's a very expensive lesson. So that made me want to shut down and forget about the agency. I wound up serving those people. I had one more launch. We did well. The guy had paid me like 30 grand. We launched. He made like 90 grand on his funnel. I'll never forget one of the first things he says to me is, hey, why the fuck wasn't that $1 million? And I just couldn't take it anymore. It was just so much stress and people not caring. Like, he made triple his money back and had a system that would continue to make more than that and still wasn't happy. And I wasn't happy. It was super stressful. So I decided to shut my agency down. Let go of all my staff, and some of that was me not knowing how to structure a business back then. Now, if things were different, if I was knew what I knew now back then, things would be totally different. I wouldn't have done a million things that I know now. But I didn't have I didn't have much of a mentor. I've had mentors throughout, but at that time I didn't. I was still trying to figure stuff out. So I go ahead and I shut down the agency, and I'm like, well, I'm going to launch a course. So I build out my course, Funnel Labs. We start doing really well with that. This is how to build out like all the funnels, webinars, lead magnets, you name it, SLO, how to build all the different funnels, the techniques, templates, everything you need. Launched that, did pretty well. But I was noticing two things. First of all, it was massive overwhelm. It literally was like 37 or 48 different modules. It's a huge amount of information. Each video was like 20 to 30 minutes. I put so much time and effort. It was probably like 50 to 70 hours worth of video easily. I mean, it was huge. Great course. A lot of people took it, loved it, but it was led to overwhelm. It led to easy overwhelm and just too much information. So I wound up shutting it down because I wasn't happy with the results people were getting. And that's what really it's about. If you do put out something and people aren't getting results from it, you need to fix it or shut it down. I mean, it's a fact of it. So I decide then that I'm going to launch. I see a lot of people are moving towards the whole funnel agency is a real big deal. So I decided to launch my course, Funnel Agency Secrets. Launch it, does really well, crushing it. All of a sudden, a big agency comes to me or a big company comes to me and they decide that they want Funnel Agency Secrets, decide to offer me X amount of money. I decided at that point to take that amount of money. So I have NDA I can't talk about now, but this big company came in and bought my course. So now here I am. I'm looking again. I'm like, what do I do now? I don't want to go back to running an agency, even though there's really good money in it. And I could do it now and do it right. I don't want to do a course anymore just because I find that courses are lacking. If you look it up, there's something like only like 60 to 70% of everyone that buys a course never open it. They just like put it in their pocket like a gym membership. When you know all those people that have gym memberships, they never go. They just keep it in case they want to go. They do their courses. People buy courses all the time for that reason. I imagine some of you watching this, I know I've got one right now. I bought like 3 weeks ago. I haven't even opened it. But anyway, with that being said, it makes it hard to want to put a course out. I'm about success. I'm about getting you results. And if I put out a course, I know that 60 to 70% of you will never open it. So I'm working with already out of every 100 people that buy it, only 30 to 40 can even get results. And then say half of those people don't take action because that's part of the problem with a lot of info is people getting in that learning loop where they just keep learning and 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 never implement. That's the problem. A lot of you probably there too. I've been there myself. I'm not pointing fingers. Trust me, I've been there. So I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to launch another course. I'm going to do something the next level where I can get my hands in there, where I can help people more. I'm going to launch a group coaching offer. And mind you, I think group coaching offers are great and I teach them now. But when I first started out, I didn't really know what I know now. So I decided I'm going to launch a group coaching offer to the masses, open enrollment. It's going to be as long as you want. You can stay as long as you want. You can go whenever you want. It's just there. Because my thought is, I'm just going to do an open forum where people are going to show up. They're going to ask their questions. I'm going to give them answers. I'm going to be able to help them. I'm going to charge $97. I'll have like 1,000 people sign up. I'll make like $100,000 a month. I'll help everyone. I'll help like 1,000 people at a time. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. In my mind, this is what I'm thinking. Mind you, you could be watching this thing and Jeff, you're an idiot. What were you thinking? So I launch it. We have a ton of people sign up. But I realized right away after like 2 or 3, people are dropping off left and right. Less people are attending the calls. And there's no one really doing anything. Because I started to realize too that a lot of times the problem with the group coaching model when it's not structured as the way I structure stuff now, and you show up and it's just a Q&A, far too often your clients, your coaching students don't know what to ask you. They don't know what questions to ask. That's what they need you for guidance, for directions, for mentorship. So you have to sometimes show them the questions because they're sometimes don't know what questions to ask, like a lot of us. So I launched this, and like I said, I start finding out that like people aren't taking action. That's the other problem. You need to give something a finite amount of time, a limited amount of time, because when you leave it open, you give someone a year, people will take a year. You give someone 3 months, they'll take 3 months. You need to put on a time limit on your coaching programs so that people know that they have to get on their butt and make them take action. So I decided to start changing this up and retooling it. And mind you, this is all happening over like the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, where all this is slowly happening over time because I'm perfecting my offer, launching things on the side, doing other stuff, but working on my coaching. And I started 97, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to double the price or triple the price. I went to 297, and I'm like, I'm going to add more stuff. I'm going to add like a one-on-one with me once a month, and I'm going to add some more course support and stuff. So added more value, and I started noticing a little different. I started noticing people started getting a little bit more movement. They had more forward momentum. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to add more value to it, more of my time, more support, more of this, more of that, more value, making it a better, like more valuable product, double the price again. And I started to notice that the quality, please don't anyone take this personally, but quality of client that I got doubled too. I'm like, well, I'm going to make this a one-on-one program, make it my time, raise it substantially to a higher price point, and that way I can be more involved and help guide people on a more personal level and actually get my input on everything. And I double the price again. And all of a sudden, people started getting massive results, like massive results. It was amazing. People were hitting 10K within 30 days left and right. It was like everyone I was working with practically was blowing up. It was freaking amazing. And that's what's evolved into my Funnel Accelerator coaching now, where I teach people to go from 0 to basically 100K, or if you're having those 8 to 9K months and you can't break through that 10 and 20K month range, how to hit those consistently. I teach you how to do your offer, your marketing, your message, your avatar, your funnels, your entire ecosystem, and get your first 10 sales organically. See, now that's the one other thing. I know it's supposed to be the Funnel Doc story, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I think initially, all my experience, what I have proven out and found to be the best way to launch and to grow your coaching offers is start organically. Start one-on-one. Get your first 10 to 20 sales. Prove out your offer. Make sure, get your elbows in there. Get dirty. Find out what people are objecting to. Learn your clients. Learn what they need. Learn how they need to learn it. Once you've mastered that, you've got that 10, 20 sales, maybe 30 max. Start pulling yourself out now, because you can't scale that way. You can't scale one-on-one. You just have so much time. And as a entrepreneur / CEO, to grow your business, you have to get out of the business and not be in the business like you are right then. So you're going to go from one-on-one. You're going to pull yourself out. You're going to still have a one-on-one available, but it's going to be at least double what your group coaching is going to be. So, because realize people, when they work one-on-one with you, it's about your time now that you're giving it. Your time is what they're paying for. It's not the course. It's not the your techniques. It's not the formulas. It's none of that, frameworks, none of that. It's your time. That's what's so hard about one-on-one and why you can't scale it. So you have to charge more. So I always recommend keep the one-on-one model, the core model. If you want, I do. I only work with 3 students every 45 days because I want to be able to focus on those 3 students and ensure their success. Plus, I don't want my calendar being cluttered up with freaking 10 one-on-ones a week or 20 one-on-ones a week. And I don't recommend you doing it either. Starting out, that's fine, like I said. But once you got that 10, 20, 30 sales, you feel it's proven, it's time to take you out of it, make it a group coaching model. And we'll get into other videos later and other stuff on how to do all this. This is what I specialize in. This is what I teach you to do. Once you hit your 100K, then you go up to my 7-figure elite. At that point, we're going to pull you out. We're going to set the group coaching model in place. We're going to perfect that. We're going to build out your course to support it, because here's the deal. Even though courses have that 60 to 70, you still have to put it out there. There's still people out there that's the entry point they can afford, and you need to have something that lets everyone in at every price point. You as a course provider or a course creator, and this was hard for me, it's not up to me to make them implement it. When you go to Harvard, there's no one there going, there's a dean that checks in. I check in with my people, that type of stuff too. But there's no one there going, you have to show up to class. If you don't show up to class and you flunk out, that's on you. Same thing for courses. And that's what I had to realize. And that was hard. But with that in mind, and with that mindset, I still put it out there, because that other 30 to 40% is going to get it, and is going to be able to take action, and is going to get results, and then be able to send up to where they can afford my higher ticket stuff, to where I can really show them results. So you got the course. Then you want your high ticket. This is my 7-figure elite for you who knows what it'd be called. This is your monthly reoccurring revenue model where someone either pays full price for X or does monthly reoccurring. The great thing, paid in fulls are great, but reoccurring is even more amazing because when you know you've got 10 people paying, say, $3,000 a month, you know you've got 30 grand every month, even if you don't make any sales. And that reoccurring revenue is so nice. Talk to anyone that's got it and they'll tell you it's one of the nicest things. Getting 30, 40, 50K at a time is amazing, but having recurring revenue and knowing you're getting paid every month consistently is even better in my opinion. That's just me. I don't mind paying full. If you want to pay in full, I'll take it. So, but anyway, that's the model. And then we build out the 7-figure league, build out the entire ecosystem, support that, your emails, your funnels, your follow-up, your copy, your sales team, organizing all your different parts of your team, your marketing team, getting a head of operations in, getting a content creator in place so that you can have a full business that can scale up to $1 million. Because that's one of the other things I found with so many entrepreneurs. You can hit 1 million by yourself or a small team, but it's impossible to scale past that. They all get stuck. They all get stuck at that 100K to even like 1 million. But if you don't build out the team in there, you don't put the systems in place, you don't build out that foundation, you're building your business on a base of sand. So that's basically the Funnel Doc story, where I went from building from the military, from high school to the military, to a personal trainer, to becoming a funnel master, to launching my agency, to making courses, to not making courses, to now doing coaching. And this is where I have my true passion. This is what I'm really enjoying. It's amazing to have the students I've had. The last 3 all, well, I mean, I think the last 8 have all done 100 or 10K in 30 days. And then my last 3 coaching students all hit 10K within like 7 to 14 days. It was amazing. And then they've all hit 100K between 80 to 140 days. Those are my last 3 students. Opening it up now. I'm going to be taking on 3 more. If you happen to be watching this, there's going to be a link down below. It's funneldoc.com/FAC. That stands for Funnel Accelerator Coaching. That's funneldoc.com/FAC, Funnel Accelerator Coaching. That's FAC, not Funnel Accelerator Coaching. Go check it out. Apply. Like I said, this isn't fake FOMO. I only take 3 people per session. You might be able to get in. If not, there'll be a waiting list so that you'll be able to get on the next session. Good luck, because I can't wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks so much for listening to my origin. This means a lot to me. This is a very important part of who I am. You know, this is me from beginning to end. And it's not been easy. Even when you've got money, when you've got friends, when you've got internet fame, there's still ups and downs. And when you're trying to figure it out on your own, you'll make a shit ton of mistakes, man. I've talked to Kristen now, one of my coaching students, and I tell her, I'm like, man, I wish I'd had me like I have you do for me now. You know what I mean? So anyway, thanks so much for watching. It means a lot to me. Please, if you watch this long, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to help the YouTube algorithm. Give me a comment below. Let me know what you thought about my story. Let me know if I can help you. If you're a coach and you're having trouble hitting those 10K months, if you haven't broken through 10K yet, you're perfect for my Funnel Accelerator Coaching. Maybe you've hit those consistent 10K and you're looking to scale past 100K to $1 million. You're good for my funnels, my 7-figure elite. Who knows? I just want to thank you for watching. Tons of new videos coming out. We're going to be having the next one I'm going to be putting out is on imposter syndrome. The next one after that, we're going to be talking about how to create an appointment funnel. I'm going to be talking about group coaching. There's going to be so much coming out in this next 90 days. I'm literally every day, Monday through Friday, going to be putting out a new piece of content for 90 days straight. I'm not going to do it the weekend, not good enough engagement. I don't want to waste videos. So anyway, thanks again. I appreciate you guys, and Funnel Doc out.